Hi, my name is Christina Austin, and I am honored to be interviewing for the Region 6 principalship. Quick introduction. I have three children. My oldest is a freshman at CU, and then I have a senior that's going to be a senior next year, Henry, and then Will be a junior next year. So I have three boys that keep me busy on top of things. So that's just personally, but my leadership journey really began. I mean, this is something that is just in me to invent and to try that entrepreneurial spirit. It began back in I guess I was 7 or 8, and it was a big cicada season. You know how they come out like they are this year, and a friend and I decided to start this business, and so we would pluck them off. And we had painted brooches that we were selling, always having that spirit of what can I do with hardly anything and make it into something that is worthwhile. Moving on from my cicada sales, I mentioning some things that are not school related. For 4 years, I stayed home in between, and I'll go back with that, with my boys, and did other things to be able to stay home. So I did real estate marketing for an agent. And so I sent and did all of her social media. It wasn't as much back then. Website, media, things that we would send out. Back then it was a lot of cards. So I did that. And then as I began working there, I thought I could sell real estate because it would work. I could do it in the evenings. And so I got my license. And then that year I did it for a year. And I sold about a house. I sold a house a month. So making a deal a month was pretty good for working along with three boys with me all the time. So that again is very entrepreneurship. Real estate is a very tough business. And then my ex-husband and I purchased it's a national tutoring franchise. And we worked that for that whole time and then a little bit longer, even when I was back in school. So we were doing both. And we exited that business with a profit. And again, it kind of had both worlds, the entrepreneurial part, but it was also dealing with education. So just a little bit, those are the things that are different than maybe other people have, but also related to that entrepreneurial spirit. So then I became in leadership. When I went back, I had already started with adult learning. I started teaching in kindergarten, but when I took my break to have my kids, I came back and I slowly moved into leadership and more professional development of teachers. And then I became an assistant principal, and I was an assistant principal at Bromley, which is a school in Brighton. It's a K-8. And we were hired as a team of 3 to come in and do a restructure. So this was a difficult job. There were a lot of needs. There were a lot of things that needed attention. So we had to start focusing on that. So we did a little bit of restructuring. We added what we felt things were missing from the program. So we added a performing arts studio. We added all kinds of electives to bring engagement up so that the behaviors weren't so bad, because their behaviors were kind of off the charts before when we came in. So you have to engage those kids. They were probably bored, many of them. We added in excursions and trips. Like I said, we wanted all kids to have a whole child approach, which is something that I really do wholeheartedly believe in. After that, I went to become a principal, and I've been one now for 8 years, the same school. And I have to tell you, the transformation of the school I am very proud of. When it started, it was somewhat of a mediocre school, a school that sometimes I felt like was forgotten. And as I left, it is a pretty magical place. But the opportunity to start a new school is so thrilling. So anyway, then so I went to be a principal for leadership. Again, I started from the beginning. I was able to find a way to hire an assistant principal, because like I say, if you want something, then you can always find it, or not always, but you can usually find a way and budget in order to do that. We, like when I arrived, it was a very teacher-centered school, and now it is much more student-centered. So even in the environment, when you look around, it looks different. And I think that is extremely important, that the children know that they own the space that they're in, they have access to things, and that just creates and allows them to be innovative. We added in an industrial arts, like a shop. So we added industrial arts to our school. And one of the things that we did with that is, sorry, my dog, Danny. Each grade level does an economics lesson. So they were able to go out into the wood shop, and they each created an authentic custom bird home, we called them. And then we took them after they were completed, we took them and we sold them at a farmer's market, so the kids could see that full circle of project-based learning. Another big project-based learning that we did school-wide, which things were already happening in the classrooms. The directive was to always be inquiry-based, to ask more questions of children, so that the cognitive shift is into their head. So we did a fundraiser. We always had to do one, and our school is currently, it is about 42% free and reduced. And we only want to do one fundraiser at a time. And so how we designed our fundraisers is we ran them ourselves in-house, and then we involved the kids. So we had a project-based learning that started all the way from this book called What Schools Can Be. And I wanted to be able to find it, but I can't. So it's dreaming of what school can be. So we started the project with the teachers. They gave dream boards. They said, this is what an ideal school could be. I said, let's dream big. What could we change? What do we need? You tell me. So then we put those vision boards up. Then the kids did vision boards for things that they wanted into the library. And then we each had to, a teacher actually, amazing, she aligned them, our PBL to state standards for every grade level. And so they understood why we needed the money, because we showed them, and their goal, again, always playground. And they wanted more of a innovative library. And so we knew, or I knew that the bond money was coming in. And so that I knew this would be a realistic project, that we would be able to buy some of the things and do some of the improvements that they had planned. So again, each grade level, then each child wrote out a dream board. We planned the PBL, which was fundraiser. So at the end, it was like an American Ninja Warrior. And so we had rented this big setup where you can crawl around it. And we were able to earn $50,000. So we took that, which is a lot for our community. And then we took that money and we were able to apply it to the bond money. But then also the kids started writing grants, because they thought there's another way that we can get money. I've heard of grants. I think one of the parents brought it up. So Jeffco offers innovation grants for schools. And so our kids wrote 3 innovation grants. They wrote one for a studio so that they could do like the news and stuff like that. They wrote one for a library, which was a $50,000 makeover of the library. And then they wrote one for the playground, which was $100,000. And they got all 3. So through that PBL, through we needed to do a fundraiser. So they got to see the real benefit of what work is. And if you work hard, just like with entrepreneurship, things can go your way. And the part about trial and error, so for trial and error, I think life is trial and error. And in fact, I thought that I was like, I think I came up with something, life is trial and error. Then turns out Bob Ross says that, and it's a very common phrase, but to me it is. I started to think, okay, Christina, think about your life. You've got yourself, right? You've got your family, and then your work life, and then maybe community life. How do you want to give back to your community? And I kept thinking, okay, but I'm never going to be actualized. I'm never going to be master or have a mastery level of something, because I know it can get better. That continuous improvement cycle is key. So if we're not failing on a regular basis, which I know is hard, but the skills kids learn, the perseverance, the way they're like, it's okay. What else can work? How else can I make this happen? That is where the questioning, that is where the collaboration comes in as a team, and great things can happen. So for me, trial and error is something I do, and it's for all my decisions in life, really. You set a goal, you try. If it doesn't work, try something else, and keep tweaking until you get to it. So thank you again for the opportunity to interview, and I will see you guys tomorrow.